The first day Mia Adeyemi stepped into the Williams mansion, rain hammered against the black iron gates like a warning. She paused, gripping the worn handle of her travel bag, more patches than fabric, her heart pounding so loud it drowned the thunder. She had never seen a house so large. Tall marble pillars held up a mansion that stretched like a kingdom touched by heaven. Glass walls glittered like diamonds, and the fountain in front was bigger than her entire mother's compound back home. 3 luxury cars, she couldn't even name their brands, sat polished like idols. Mia swallowed hard. She wasn't supposed to be here. She was only 23, the eldest child of 4, a village-born girl who came to the city with nothing but fear and hope. Her dream had been simple: work hard, save money, send her siblings to school, and survive. But destiny rarely asks for permission. A guard stepped forward. "Your name?" he asked sharply, scanning her from head to toe, as if her presence contaminated the air. Mia," she stammered. "Mia Adeyemi. I'm here for the caregiver job." The guard's expression softened slightly. "Madam Deborah is waiting. Follow me." Mia clutched her bag and followed, boots sinking into the wet gravel pathway. As they approached the thick mahogany doors, they opened before the guard could knock. There stood Mrs. Deborah Williams. Tall, elegant, and cold, her beauty was sharp enough to cut. Her skin glowed, her jewelry sparkled like royalty, but her eyes carried something dark. A hunger. "So," Deborah said, her tone dripping with judgment, "you're the girl from the agency?" "Yes, ma'am." "You look smaller than I expected." Her gaze traveled Mia's frame like she was inspecting a piece of furniture. "And younger. I hope you're not weak." "My husband needs strength around him." "I will do my best, ma'am," Mia whispered. Deborah smiled, but there was no warmth. "Oh, I know you will. Follow me." As they walked deeper into the mansion, Mia felt an invisible weight pressing down on her. The walls held portraits of the Williams family, pictures of luxury, power, and pride. One photograph caught Mia's eye, a tall man with gentle eyes and a commanding posture, holding a ceremonial staff. Chief Alexander Williams, respected business titan and billionaire. But the most recent portrait was different. The same man, thinner, paler, sitting in a wheelchair, surrounded by his 3 daughters. Vanessa, bold eyes, expensive clothes, a smirk carved into her lips. Chantel, model tall, flawless skin, and resentment glowing like fire. Naomi, youngest, spoiled, her expression screaming entitlement. Not one of them looked happy in the photo. Mia swallowed. These were the people she was about to live with. Deborah stopped outside a large double door. "You're here to care for my husband. He is terminally ill. Your job is simple: keep him comfortable, clean, fed, and accompanied. Speak only when spoken to. And above everything, do not forget your place." Mia nodded nervously. Deborah's voice sharpened. "And Mia, stay away from family business. You are staff. Nothing more." The doors opened. And there he was. Chief Alexander Williams, once a giant of power, now lay weak in a hospital-style bed. His breathing was shallow, his hands trembling, but his eyes were full of strength. When he saw Mia, he smiled faintly. "You must be Mia," he whispered. His voice was soft, but it carried authority, even on the brink of death. "Yes, sir," she replied, bowing her head slightly. "Come closer," he said, lifting a hand weakly. She stepped to his side, taking his cold hand gently. "You remind me of someone I once knew," he said slowly. "Someone pure." Mia's heart tightened. She didn't know why she suddenly wanted to cry. Chief Williams studied her face for a long moment, then turned to his wife. "Deborah," he said with effort, "I want her close. She will care for me personally. No one else." Deborah's jaw clenched. "As you wish," she forced out. But her eyes flashed with fury. And at that moment, Mia realized. She had just become a threat. A threat she didn't understand. Yet. The sun was sinking behind the skyline of Ikoyi, Lagos, casting golden light across the waters of the lagoon, but inside the Williams mansion, there was no warmth, only ice. It had been only 3 days since Mia arrived, and she had already learned one truth. The Williams daughters hated her. It began subtly. A missing towel here. Cold silence there. Mocking whispers behind her back. But tonight, the cruelty came without disguise. Mia stood quietly near the dining hall doorway, hands clasped in front of her, waiting for instructions. The long glass dining table reflected the chandelier lights like a river of diamonds. Deborah sat at the head of the table, poised like a queen. The 3 sisters arrived one by one. Vanessa, the eldest, sharp-tongued, always dressed like she was attending a fashion magazine cover shoot. Chantel, second-born, tall, elegant, but her voice carried poison wrapped in honey. Naomi, the youngest, the most dangerous kind of spoiled, with money as her weapon. As they seated themselves, Naomi's eyes locked onto Mia, and her lips curled. "So she's still here?" Naomi scoffed. "I swear, Mum, the house smells different since she arrived." Vanessa laughed. "Cheap perfume and poverty?" The sisters giggled. Deborah pretended not to hear. Mia kept her expression neutral. She had learned early in life that silence was armor. The doors opened and 2 security guards wheeled Chief Alexander Williams into the room. His breathing mask covered half his face, tubes connected to his arm. Even weakened, the room shifted around him. His presence demanded respect. The moment he saw Mia, his eyes softened. "Mia," he signaled weakly. "Come." Every head snapped toward him. Mia stepped forward and gently adjusted his blanket. "Thank you, child," he whispered. "You're the only one who remembers I'm human." The table froze in utter silence. Vanessa slammed her fork down. "Daddy, stop embarrassing us. She's a maid. Not royalty." Chief Williams turned his head slowly, pain flickering in his eyes. "A maid who treats me better than my own blood." Deborah's jaw tightened. "Alexander," she said coldly, "you are emotional because you are ill. Don't speak nonsense." But he ignored her. Instead, he looked up at Mia again. "You are special, Mia. Do not let anyone here break you." Those words were a flame in a room soaked in gasoline. Naomi's voice cut the air. "I don't see what's so special. She's just the help. Probably came from some bush village." Mia's fingers trembled, but she kept her head down. Chief Williams turned sharply, his voice suddenly firm with the command of the titan he once was. "Enough." Everyone froze. "No one in this house will disrespect Mia again. She is under my protection. And if any of you cannot live with that." His breathing quickened, chest rising in painful spasms. "There's the door." Shock rippled through the room. Deborah stood suddenly. "Alexander, this obsession is ridiculous. She is staff, and nothing more. Why risk breaking this family over her?" Chief Williams lifted his hand, and his eyes, though tired, were blazing. "Because she has something none of you have." "What?" Vanessa spat. What could she possibly have? A heart. Silence. Explosive, heavy, humiliating silence. Naomi pushed her chair back violently. "I am not eating in the same room as her," she snapped, and stormed out. Chantel followed, whispering curses. Vanessa stayed only long enough to glare at Mia. One glare. One promise of war. Then she left too. Deborah stared at Mia with venom burning behind her calm smile. "You may leave," she said through clenched teeth. Mia nodded and walked quickly away, but the moment she turned the corner, her breath trembled and tears slid down her cheeks, silent and hot. She leaned against the wall, pressing a hand over her mouth to keep from sobbing out loud. She wasn't weak. But the pain cut deep. Mia sat beside Chief William's bed, gently massaging his hands as he struggled with pain. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "I didn't mean to cause trouble for you." He shook his head. "You didn't cause it," he whispered. "You revealed it." She looked into his tired eyes, trying to understand. "All my life," he said slowly, voice cracking, "I built companies, created wealth, raised children, but somewhere along the line, I forgot to teach them love. Respect. Humanity." He closed his eyes, breath trembling. "I am dying, Mia. I don't have much time left. And worse. I am leaving everything behind to people who will destroy each other for my fortune." Mia swallowed painfully. "What do you want me to do, sir?" He looked at her, really looked, like he was searching for something in her soul. "You have something I lost long ago, hope. And purity of intention." He paused before speaking words that changed her life forever. "I always wanted a son. An heir. Someone who carries my blood and my name with honor." Mia felt her chest tighten. She didn't understand. What are you saying?" His eyes glistened with desperate honesty. "I want you to help me fulfill my last wish." Mia's heart pounded as if it might stop. "What do you mean?" "I want a child. My child. Someone who can inherit my legacy without corruption. Someone who represents a fresh beginning. You, Mia, you are the only person I trust." The room seemed to freeze. Mia stared at him in shock. "You want me to?" "Yes." His voice shook. "Carry my child." Her hand instinctively covered her mouth. "I know it sounds impossible. And I will not force you. But if you agree, I will protect you. I will secure your future. And you will never know suffering again." Mia's entire body trembled, fear, confusion, disbelief. "Why me? I'm a nobody." He smiled weakly. "Every legend begins as nobody." Silence held them both. And in that silence, something shifted, fate tightening around them like a closing hand. Hours passed. Mia sat alone in the quiet garden, staring at the moonlight reflecting off the mansion pool. Crickets sang, distant traffic hummed, and inside her, chaos roared. Her family. Her siblings. Their hunger. Their school fees. Her mother's tears. Everything she had tried to escape. She whispered to herself. What would I be willing to do to save the people I love? And the answer came like a whisper from her soul. Anything. When she returned to Chief William's room, he looked at her with pleading eyes. Mia inhaled deeply. I'll do it, she said softly. But only if it's truly what you want. He closed his eyes, relief flooding his features, and a tear slid down. Thank you, Mia. And just like that, war began. A war not fought with guns, but with secrets, greed, and bloodlines. The news spread through the mansion like wildfire, faster than gossip, sharper than knives. Mia had agreed. And though no one knew the details yet, the energy of the house changed. The air felt heavier. Eyes followed her. Whispers slithered behind every door. By the fifth morning, the attack came. Mia entered the grand kitchen just after dawn to prepare Chief William's fruit and medication tray. She moved quietly, careful not to disturb the sleeping mansion. She reached into the refrigerator for the strawberries when suddenly, ice-cold water crashed over her head. She gasped, frozen in shock as water drenched her uniform, dripping onto the floor. Laughter erupted behind her. She turned slowly. Vanessa, Chantel, and Naomi stood in the doorway holding a bucket. Naomi clapped mockingly. Ah, look at the little maid. We gave you a bath. You should be grateful. Vanessa leaned against the counter, arms crossed, eyes burning with hatred. So tell us, she said quietly, what exactly did you do to make Daddy bend over backwards for you? Did you sleep your way into his pity? Mia's throat tightened. No, Ma. I would never. Shut up, Chantel snapped, stepping forward. She shoved Mia hard. Mia's back slammed into the refrigerator, pain exploding up her spine. You think we don't see what's happening? Chantel snarled. You think we don't know Daddy favors you? You're a nobody. A village girl. Disposable. Mia swallowed tears. I've done nothing to you. Please, let me work. Vanessa moved closer, her voice low and deadly. You think you're safe because he likes you? Let me tell you something, when he dies, you die too. People like you don't survive families like ours. She grabbed Mia's chin roughly, forcing her to look into her eyes. Stay in your place, house girl. She shoved her away. Mia stumbled, slipping on the wet floor, hitting her elbow hard. The sisters laughed and walked away, leaving her shaking. Her entire body trembled, not from the cold water, but from humiliation. She slid to the floor, pressing her forehead against her knees, sobbing silently. But she wiped her tears and stood up slowly. She wasn't going to break. Not today. Not ever. An hour later, Mia stood by Chief William's bed, quiet but visibly shaken. He studied her face and frowned. What happened? Nothing, sir, she whispered. His voice sharpened like steel. Mia. Look at me. She hesitated, then lifted her face. His eyes darkened. Who did this to you? Her lips trembled. Please. I don't want trouble. Chief William's hand gripped the bed rail, anger rumbling through his weak body. As long as I breathe, no one will hurt you under my roof. He pressed the call button. Within seconds, security guards entered. Send Vanessa, Chantel, and Naomi here. Now. Minutes later, the three sisters stood at the foot of his bed, arms crossed, wearing masks of arrogance. What is it now, Daddy? Vanessa rolled her eyes. Chief Williams pointed at Mia. Apologize. Chantel scoffed. For what? For attacking her. Naomi laughed loudly. You're joking. Apologize to a maid? Never. The chief's voice thundered through the room with a force that stunned even the guards. Apologize. The room shook with silence. No one breathed. Vanessa stepped forward, jaw clenched. You have allowed a stranger to divide this family. You've lost your mind. Chief Williams leaned forward, tears of fury in his eyes. I lost my family long before Mia arrived. I raised monsters who think wealth is worth more than respect. Naomi snapped. You're sick and emotional. We are your blood. Not her. And what has blood ever given me? He shot back. You wait for me to die. You count my companies like vultures. You pray for my coffin so you can fight over my remains. Deborah entered the room at that moment. What is going on? Your daughters assaulted Mia, the chief said. And you will all apologize, or leave my house tonight. Deborah's face twisted. That girl is turning this family against each other. No, he whispered, voice shaking with heartbreak. You did that long ago. Silence. Crushing. Vanessa lifted her chin. I will not apologize to a worthless maid. Then get out, he said. Gasps echoed. Deborah stepped forward, eyes blazing. You cannot kick your daughters out. You're not thinking clearly. The chief's breathing grew heavy, rage mixing with pain. If I die tonight, let it be known, I die ashamed of the family I created. Deborah turned to Mia, her voice cutting like a blade. This is your fault. Whatever happens now, your blood is on your own hands. The sisters stormed out, slamming the door. Mia stood frozen, shaking violently. Chief Williams reached for her hand. I'm sorry you are suffering because of me. Mia wiped her tears. No. I choose to be here. And I'm not leaving. For the first time, he smiled with pride. Days passed. The daughters avoided their father, plotting in whispers. Deborah spoke less, but her silence was colder than words. The household staff looked at Mia differently, some with pity, some with jealousy, some with hatred. One night, while returning from the pharmacy to pick up medication for the chief, Mia passed by the family study. She stopped. Inside, Deborah stood beside a lawyer, speaking in a low voice. "We need him to sign the new will within the week," she said. "If he refuses, we move to alternative measures." "Alternative measures?" the lawyer asked. "Yes," she whispered. "I will not let a maid steal my life's work." Mia froze. They wanted him dead. Soon. She backed away silently. Her hands trembled. Her heartbeat hammered. As she walked down the hallway, she whispered, "They're going to kill him." She entered the chief's room, her face pale. He looked up instantly. "What happened?" Mia hesitated. Then she told him everything. Every word. Chief Williams closed his eyes, breathing in pain. "I knew this day would come," he whispered. "I just didn't think it would come so soon." He turned his face to her, voice trembling. "Mia, how do you feel physically? Have you noticed anything different?" She blinked, confused. "My stomach feels strange," she said softly. "For a week now. I thought it was stress." His eyes lit with both fear and hope. "Mia, you may be pregnant." Her breath caught. The world felt suddenly silent. "You need to leave this house," he said urgently, gripping her hand. "If they find out, they will kill you. And the baby." Mia's knees weakened. "But I promised to stay with you." "You kept your promise," he whispered, tears streaming. "Now I must keep mine." He looked toward the window. "I've already arranged everything. Money. Documents. Protection. A safe house far from Lagos. You need to leave tonight." Mia shook, unable to speak. "I won't let them destroy my legacy. You are my last hope. You must live." She fell to her knees, clutching his hand, sobbing. "I'm scared." He lifted her chin gently. "Courage is not the absence of fear. It's the decision to fight anyway." Midnight. The mansion slept. Mia packed only what she could carry. The chief's closest security officer, Captain Tund, waited by the service door with a black SUV engine running. "You're safe with me," he said quietly. "The chief trusted me, and I'll honor him." Mia looked back at the mansion where her life changed forever. Then she stepped into the car. As the gate opened slowly, rain began to fall, the same way it had the day she arrived. But this time, the storm was war. Inside the mansion, Deborah stood in the shadows upstairs, watching the SUV disappear. Her face twisted into pure hatred. "She's pregnant," she whispered. Vanessa appeared behind her. "Then we hunt her." Rain hammered against the windshield as Captain Tun drove through the dark streets of Lagos, headlights slicing through the storm. Mia sat in the back seat, shaking, her hands pressed against her belly as if she were protecting something more precious than her own life. She didn't know yet. She didn't need a test. Something deep inside told her. She was carrying Chief Alexander Williams' child. The night outside blurred, but inside her mind, everything was painfully sharp. Every scream. Every threat. Every humiliation. And the sound of the chief's voice whispering. "Run. Live. Protect our legacy." The moment Mia's car disappeared beyond the gates, chaos erupted. Deborah stormed into the chief's bedroom, her eyes flaming with murder. "Where is Esachi?" she screamed. Chief Williams lay weakly in his bed, oxygen mask pressed tightly to his face. His breathing was shallow, painful. "She's gone where your evil can't reach her," he whispered. Deborah marched closer, fists clenched. You think you've won? You think sending her away will save her? When people like us want someone gone, there is no escape. The chief stared at her, disappointed more than angry. I built an empire to protect my family. But the enemy was always inside my own house. Deborah's lips curled into a cold smile. At least you finally understand. She turned to the door. Tund helped her escape, she announced sharply. Find him. Bring them both back. Security guards scattered like soldiers receiving orders from a general. Chief Williams tried to speak, but his voice broke into coughing, violent, choking coughs that rattled his fragile ribs. You already destroyed this family, he gasped. Don't destroy my child too. Deborah froze. So it's true, she whispered. She's pregnant. At that exact moment, Vanessa, Chantel, and Naomi entered. Their faces changed, shock, then rage, then something darker. Pregnant with what? Naomi screamed. You let that thing carry our blood? Vanessa snapped, over our dead bodies. Chantel looked at the chief, voice trembling with hatred. We will find her. And when we do, she will suffer. The chief's heart monitor began to spike, beeping wildly. His breath faltered. Deborah smirked. Look at you. You chose a maid over the children you raised. What a tragic ending. But for the first time in years, Chief Williams didn't hold back. You were never a mother. You were a judge. A warden. A queen who ruled with fear. You taught them greed, cruelty, hatred. You taught them to bite instead of love. Silence. Then the sharp, piercing tone of the heart monitor. One long, endless beep. Chief Alexander Williams went still. Not another breath. Not another heartbeat. His eyes, once full of power, stared into nothing. Naomi gasped. Chantel stepped back, trembling. Even Vanessa froze in shock. But Deborah smiled. Finally, she whispered. Vanessa looked at the body, then at her mother. What now? Deborah's voice was ice. Now? We bury him quickly. We control the story. And we find that girl before the world learns the truth. She turned to the security chief. Place a bounty. I don't care the cost. Bring Mia back alive, until I decide otherwise. Meanwhile, Captain Tund sped along the Ikordu Express Road, eyes locked on the road, jaw tight with determination. We'll reach the safe house in Ogun State in 1 hour, he said. The chief planned everything. You'll be protected. Mia stared out the window, tears streaming silently. He's dead, she whispered, though she had no proof, she felt it. Her chest tightened, her breath shaking. Tund's hands gripped the wheel. We must honor his last order. You must stay alive. Mia closed her eyes. But I'm alone now. No, Tund answered. You carry his future. Suddenly. Headlights appeared behind them, blinding and fast. A black SUV swerved aggressively, ramming their car from behind. Mia screamed, gripping the seat. Hold on. Tund shouted. The second hit was harder, slamming them sideways. The car spun, tires skidding across the slick road. Tund fought the steering wheel desperately. Mia, get down. Glass shattered as bullets tore through the rear window. Gunshots. Mia ducked, covering her head as shards rained down. Another SUV blocked the front, trapping them. Tund reached into the glove compartment, pulling out a handgun. They found us. Run when I say, no matter what happens. Tund, no. Don't argue. Move. He kicked the door open and stepped out, firing at the attackers with steady precision. Mia. Now. Mia pushed the opposite door open and ran into the darkness, rain hitting her like needles. Behind her. Gunfire exploded. Tund screamed. Engines roared. She didn't look back. She ran through mud, slipping, falling, struggling back to her feet. Her lungs burned. Her legs trembled. Her vision blurred. But she ran. Because she wasn't running for herself anymore. She was running for the child inside her. Hours later, Mia collapsed behind an abandoned petrol station near a small market town. Rainwater soaked her to the bone, her breath ragged, her skin shaking uncontrollably. Every muscle hurt. Her feet were bleeding. Her hands were scraped raw. She curled onto the cold concrete, sobbing so hard she could hardly breathe. "I don't want to die," she whispered. "Please. God, not like this." Lightning cracked across the sky. Her mind replayed the chief's last words. "Courage is choosing to fight anyway." She pressed both palms against her belly. "I will fight," she whispered through tears. "For you." The Williams mansion transformed overnight into a battlefield. Lawyers, media, police, corporate rivals, and hungry relatives swarmed like vultures smelling blood. Rumors exploded online. Billionaire Chief Williams dead under suspicious circumstances. Who inherits the Williams empire? Secret pregnancy in the mansion? Deborah stormed into the boardroom wearing black, pretending grief. "We will handle this privately," she announced. "Family first." Vanessa leaned over and whispered. "What if the press finds out he left everything to the child?" Deborah's face turned stone. "Then that child dies." As dawn approached, Mia forced herself to stand. She had nothing left, not money, not shelter, not help. But she had resolve. She started walking, not knowing where she was going. She just knew she had to move. With every step, she whispered. "For my child. For my family. For his legacy." She reached a small roadside church and collapsed at the entrance. The old security guard outside rushed to help. "Madam. Are you okay?" Mia's voice cracked. "Please, help me." And then everything went dark. The mansion that once echoed with classical music and polished footsteps now trembled under the weight of fury. Chief Williams' death certificate hadn't dried yet, but the war he foresaw had already begun. Deborah's voice sliced through the hallway like broken glass. "Find her," she commanded, slamming her palm on the marble counter. Her eyes were bloodshot, mascara streaking down her face like war paint. "She is not leaving this family with my husband's bloodline. I swear it." Beside her, Vanessa, the eldest daughter, paced ferociously, heels striking the floor like gunshots. "Mom, calm down." "Calm down?" Deborah wheeled around, eyes blazing. "If that girl gives birth outside this house, everything changes. The will goes straight to that baby. Do you understand what's at stake?" Vanessa swallowed hard. She understood. All her life, she believed she was the rightful heir, not because she earned it, but because she was born into it. Now, the idea that a maid could carry the next Williams heir? It burned through her chest like acid. "We need to control the narrative," Vanessa hissed. "Before the media finds out. Before the board finds out." Deborah gritted her teeth. "Then find her. Use every resource. Police. Private investigators. Immigration. Hospitals. Airports. I want her found." The black SUV sliced through the rain-soaked highway, engine growling against the storm. Inside, Mia sat trembling, clutching her small bag, the only thing she left with. Chief Williams' trusted driver, Isaac, kept his eyes fixed on the road, jaw tight, knuckles white around the steering wheel. He had been loyal to the chief for 18 years, and this was the final request he swore to honor. "You need to stay awake, Mia," Isaac said quietly. "We're not safe yet." Mia stared down at her hands, swollen and trembling. Her other hand instinctively rested over her stomach.